is a fear that caregivers are afraid to admit. And that is, what if I can't do this anymore? I mean, and that thought terrifies many caregivers. It terrified me. I wrote a book called I Almost Gave Up. It terrifies a caregiver. And not only are there thoughts of guilt and resentment and shame and the stress, the overwhelm, the anxiety, but one of the biggest thoughts that haunt a caregiver is, what if I can't do this anymore? It's the what ifs. Welcome to the Empowered Caregiver Podcast. I am your host, Valerie B. And today we are going to talk about and address that fear of what if. What if I give up? What if I can't keep doing it? What if I have a meltdown? What if I have a nervous breakdown? And the what ifs don't mean that you're selfish as a caregiver. It doesn't mean that you're giving up. It doesn't even mean that you're a bad caregiver. But sometimes that thought is not a sign that you just want to get out. It's a sign that you are overloaded and overwhelmed and have been for much too long. What you're really saying is that you're exhausted, and that you're overwhelmed, and that you're scared, and that you don't know how much longer that you can carry this load by yourself. And then the fear just shows up, because caregiving isn't usually about having one hard day or one hard moment. It's more about that daily grind, the day-to-day, the unpredictability in your days, the emotional wear and tear, the sleepless nights. It's about the grief, the hard decisions that a caregiver has to make. And if you're caring for your parents, it could be about the role reversal. How your parents wants to care of you, and now you're taking care of your parents. And over time, it doesn't matter how long that you have been caregiving. Even the strongest and the most devoted caregiver wonders, what happens if I just hit a wall? What happens? And then there comes and it triggers thoughts when you see your loved one's needs changing and shifting. Your loved one may be going from forgetting medication to now they can't take care of themselves. They can't wash themselves. They can't go to the restroom on their own. They can't dress themselves. And if you're caring for someone with dementia, it could be because the dementia signs are getting worse. The behaviors are worse. Those thoughts come up when you are the primary or even the only caregiver. You could be thinking about hitting that brick wall when you're still working and trying to caregive and take care of your family at the same time. You think about it when your body's breaking down. You think about it when your patience is getting thinner. You think about it because you're like, I've just been surviving for too long. I want to thrive. And yes, you can thrive as a caregiver. In other words, it's fear. And in a nutshell, this fear appears when caregiving has gotten worse, when it's requiring more of you, more of your time, more of your energy, more of your strength. But the support hasn't grown. The support hasn't changed. So when a caregiver has this fear, what you're really saying is, I'm scared. I'm burned out. I'm scared I'm going to get sick and no one is going to be there to step in. I'm scared that I don't even recognize myself anymore. I'm scared that I'm becoming resentful of those who aren't willing to help me. I'm scared because I'm afraid that I've been holding this frustration in so long that one day I'm just going to snap. I'm scared because I'm carrying more than I can sustain, and I don't even have a backup plan if something happens. And that's why this episode is going to be so important to you. Because the question really is not, can I do this anymore? Sometimes the better question might be, can I keep doing it the way that I'm doing it right now? And that's a very different question. So I'm going to be honest with you, and I want to share 5 signs that you may be getting close to your breaking point as a caregiver. And I want you to listen to these things closely because these are warning signs that you may be getting close to your limit. And I don't want you to get close to your limit. Number 1 is you're constantly on edge and you're constantly nervous. You're more irritable than usual. You're more reactive and you get frustrated easily. And you're emotionally running thin. The next sign is you have a greater need to just get away. I mean, it's not like you want to leave forever. But the thoughts are more like, I just want to get away and I just want to break free from all of this. And I wish somebody would just take care and take over for me just for a little while so I can just get a break. I just really don't want to do this today. And the reason you feel that way is because you're depleted. The next warning sign is you feel it in your body. You start feeling it physically. You start having headaches and stomach pains more often. You have trouble sleeping. You're more tired than usual. Sometimes you even have muscle tension. You cry and you don't know why you're crying. But you cry more often. You have increased stress and anxiety. And remember that your body often tells the truth before your words do. And when your body gets tired enough, it's going to shut down without warning. And number 4 is you feel trapped. If you feel like there's no exit, you don't have any help, you don't have any relief, you don't even have time for yourself, and you just want to give up, that can be dangerous if you ignore it and you don't address it. And then number 5, you're functioning, but you're barely functioning. I mean, you're still going to the doctor's appointments, making appointments, you're still doing the shopping, you're still showing up, you're still giving the meds, you're still making the phone calls, you're still doing all of those things, but inside, you feel like you're barely hanging on. And that you're hanging on by a thread. Let's talk about what you can do before you reach the breaking point. Because I want you to think about responding before you collapse, not after. And one of the steps, the first step is to tell yourself the truth. Be honest about where you are. Be honest about what you're feeling. Be honest about what you're doing. It could be, this whole caregiving thing is too much for me. I can't do it. It could be, I just need more help. Maybe it's, I am more overwhelmed than I've admitted to anyone. And maybe it's the way things are set up right now with caregiving, it's not sustainable for me. And asking yourself those questions is just really being honest with yourself. It's not a weakness, it's being wise. Number 2, stop waiting until it becomes a crisis. I know with everything that a caregiver has going on a day-to-day basis, it's already a lot. And sometimes it's easy for a crisis to occur and then a caregiver reacts afterwards. But let's try to react before the crisis. Because so many caregivers wait until they get sick. They wait until they explode emotionally. They've been holding things in for so long. And then they snap. Some of them wait until there's a major incident. Some wait when they can't physically go any further. But please don't wait for collapse to validate your need for support. Number 3 is identify what is not working. What are some of the hardest things that you have to deal with as a caregiver? And it's just not working for you. Is it that your loved one may need constant supervision? Is it that you're still working and caregiving and trying to take care of both roles at the same time? Is it managing dementia behaviors that are escalating and progressing? Is it being that primary caregiver or even the only one who's caring for your loved one? Is it because you can't sleep at night? What is not working for you? And then once you identify and you're very specific about what's not working, then start to build a backup plan. A backup plan. Just ask yourself, if I get sick tomorrow, what's going to happen? What services haven't I explored or researched? Is it Meals on Wheels? Another service? If I emotionally hit a wall, do I have any support? Or even if I had to be away for a few days, who is going to step in? So think of these things and more about what you could put into your care plan, your backup plan, because you're already unbearably mentally overwhelmed and overloaded that it's going to be so important for you to have a backup plan. And then number 5 is give yourself permission to consider other levels of care. And sometimes the next step isn't doing more and pushing yourself harder and sacrificing more and trying harder. Sometimes that next step is maybe putting your loved one in adult daycare. Maybe it's getting respite care. Maybe it's having more in-home help. Maybe it's having a caregiver to come in so that you can get away. Maybe it's putting your loved one in assisted living or memory care or nursing home. Maybe it's rotating family assistance. Because what happens is when you have a different care plan, it doesn't feel like you've abandoned the person. So get you a backup care plan. Caregiving should be more than one person. A caregiver should not carry the load by themselves, especially when dementia is involved. Definitely need more than one person. I took care of my dad. My brother was there some of the time, but it was a heavy load to carry. When your loved one's behaviors are getting worse or escalating, someone's going to need to help you if your loved one has physical decline. Putting someone in a wheelchair and taking them out of a wheelchair or taking them out of bed and in bed, that wears on your body. I had to do it alone. It wears on your body. If you're doing things without support, especially when you're balancing work and children and even your own health. And this fear may just be a sign that the care demands have outgrown the current structure. So let's reframe fear a little bit. Instead of asking only what if I can't do this anymore, try asking, what support do I need right now? What part of this can no longer continue the way that it's going? What needs to change before I reach my breaking point? And it's important to make that shift. Not just think it. Now you need to put the plan in place. Now you need to ask those questions that really are going to bring a shift. Because this episode is not about encouraging you to quit. It's about empowering you to get honest before you lose yourself, because you deserve to thrive, and your loved one deserves a care plan. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Empowered Caregiver podcast. And if you've ever said to yourself, what if I can't do this anymore? First of all, know that it is okay to think it. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a bad caregiver. And it doesn't mean that you don't care. It's just a warning sign or a red flag. It's a signal that you've been carrying too much for too long by yourself. So it's time to listen to your body. Listen to your mind and be honest with yourself. Be honest about what's working and what's not working. Be honest about where you need help. And be honest before your body says, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Don't try to be that super caregiver. You're not the super caregiver who thinks they can just do it all by themselves when there is help available. So please, take all of these things into consideration. Think about that fear. So if this episode spoke to your heart, I hope it reminded you that your limits just make you human. You aren't less loving. You're not any less compassionate. You're not any less courageous. But you are strong and you are thriving. And until next time, take care of yourself as you care for someone else.